sure our audio's on. Hold on. Sorry, give me just a second. Okay, we're good to go.
Time for this meeting to commence. We do have a quorum, so we'll go ahead and start. This meeting is being conducted both live in person.
Mr. Cooley, is your mic on? Your mic.
I thought that button looked like it was on. Dang. Okay. It's time to start this meeting, and so we will do that. We have a quorum, and this meeting is being conducted both on live with the people here and on Zoom. I know that we do have a member or two on Zoom. I'm not sure if we have any members of the public. If you do have questions or anything, please submit it via writing, and it'll be handled appropriately. And with that, let's go to the agenda that we have, and we start with the roll call.
Councilmember Ray Santos.
Here.
Councilmember David Fenn.
Here.
Treasurer Baron Janetti.
Here.
Chairman Steve Cooley.
Here.
Vice Chair David Vanderpool.
Here.
Member Dennis Garcia.
Here.
And alternate member Damian Butler, soon-to-be member.
Here.
All right. So are there any requests for excused absences? Nope, doesn't appear so. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and Mr. Garcia, will you lead us on that, please? Thank you. Are there any adjustments to the agenda that anyone is aware of? And any conflicts of interest that need to be disclosed? All right. This meeting is open to the public, and as stated, we have a virtual format to be inclusive of all participation preferences. If you are a public member, you're encouraged to email any comments to the city clerk's office or by calling and using the phone number provided on the front of the agenda. Do we have any public comments at this time?
I have no written comments. Jackie, do we have anyone on the line?
No, there's nobody on the line.
All right. So then we'll move on to the next. And the first action we want to take is we need to fill a member seat. And what is recommended, and we're asking for a motion, is that we appoint alternate member Damian Butler as a voting member. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I recommend that we approve Damian Butler from alternate to a member of the Finance Audit Committee.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Santos.
Aye.
Councilmember Fenn.
Yes.
Treasurer Janetti.
Yes.
Chairman Cooley.
Yes.
Vice Chair Vanderpool.
Yes.
Member Garcia.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. No question about that. Well done through. And we're glad to have you as a voting member, and we'll get you busy.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
And as was said when you were appointed as an alternate member, our alternate members need to stick around, because before we get through the allotted appointment period, there's always alternate members that move into regular members. And we're glad to have you. We're glad that you stick around and hung on. So the next item is the approval of the minutes. Do we have anybody has any comments on the minutes from the last meeting? Doesn't appear so. Have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Santos.
Aye.
Councilmember Fenn.
Yes.
Treasurer Janetti,
Yes.
Chairman Cooley,
I'll abstain, I missed the meeting.
Vice Chair Vanderpool,
Yes.
Member Garcia,
Yes.
and Member Butler.
Yes.
All right, they're approved. We'll move on to the next item, which is the invoice pay and the 6-month update. We do have a staff report on that,
Yes.
and we do have the document as you scroll on down. Okay, go ahead with the staff report, please.
Thank you. Good evening, members. In March 2022, the finance staff presented to the Finance Committee invoice pay third-party payment service. During the presentation and discussion, a request was made to bring back an update on the cost savings of the service after 6 months. So we reached out to Invoice Pay last week, so this was the most current data that they had as of last week. And from December 2021 through July 31st, 2022, Invoice Pay processed 18.47 million and generated $585.42 in rebates to the city. And you'll see that the majority of the money that went out was through ACH and checks, and the card is a little bit lower than we anticipated, but through time that will probably increase. So through August 31st, 2022, the quantity of automated payments that the city has processed through Invoice Pay was 2,131, what we would call checks had we been processing checks. And that results in a check processing cost savings of $6,393 to the city. And we basically used a $3 cost in check processing to determine the savings. And then lastly, I'd just like to note that the AP automation is a recommended best practices from the GFOA. So I'll take any questions you may have on this.
Yeah, I have a couple of them. How is the revenue generated from the card payments?
The fee is charged to the vendor.
Okay, and how much is that fee?
I don't recall what the fee was on that. Do you remember, Jennifer?
It's an amount when they sign up to do the virtual card. There's a percentage of that goes to the invoice pay, and then it's a revenue sharing agreement.
Right,
We can bring back what that
Yeah.
percentage is.
okay.
Yeah, I don't have that off the top of my
And is
head.
that fee more than the city charges when it's paid directly to the city?
Is that fee more than,
Okay, if I pay my
Repeat that
water, or not my water, if I pay my sewer bill through the city,
yes,
okay, there's a convenience fee for using a credit card. Is that less or more than our vendors are paying to this processing company?
Oh, we can look at that.
we'll look at that. Yeah, I believe it's lower, but we'll look at that because I
Yeah,
don't know the
believe
rate
it's-
off the top of my
I
head.
believe it's about half.
Yeah,
Okay. The other question I have is, can the city staff view the payment processing in real time
yes.
on invoice pay?
Yeah, it's all
That's-
integrated with our Tyler accounting
Okay.
software
So
system.
we're seeing it on their system, not what we requested them to do in our system?
Yes.
Okay,
correct.
that's a
Yeah.
substantial change to what's out there on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the processing time from the city requesting a payment to the receipt of payment by the vendors on ACH?
It's next day for ACH. If they do check, it does take a little bit over a
Sure.
week.
Okay,
Yeah.
that answers my questions. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chairman, I'll just jump in on this. I mean, on the, because we had a problem before, way back then, on the ACH and everything, and
Yes.
probably, before you guys, and before the other directors. And because we have a problem on the ACH on this, and I keep on repeating that, that would be nice to probably, could give us, actual who's the vendors and everything. Here's what happened on before, when I got involved in here, I was not a council, I was on the, not audit, standing by the state controller. We audit that. I mean, I think on this finance and audit has to concentrate more on the auditing side, and then the budgeting and finance. I should not say it's easy, but it's given. But the only thing is on the ACH, we issued $1 million on not authorized and everything. I should not say not authorized, it slipped on the system. And it took us a while to recover that. And you see that on the history and that. That would be nice if this council or this committee, that's the reason I jump in on this committee way back then, and the word audit. And that would be nice to see that kind of report on a quarterly basis, especially the treasurer could keep eye on that. And that's what we did. Five of us, who's a member on the committee, we spotted that kind of problem in there. And then we changed it. Now we have a good system and everything, but still, I think this committee should have that kind of a report. Thank you. Thank you, Chairperson.
Any other comments?
So
And
they think that's under right now on the card, because that's where we get to have the revenue sharing.
Correct.
They're saying based right now, that's
Yeah.
a low number,
Yeah.
based on the newness of it, this is the first
Yeah.
6 months.
It requires a lot of, I think, our time to work with vendors to push the card. But we haven't spent a lot of time on that. We've let Invoice Pay do most of the work on that. And
Well, before with the convenience fee for our payments, did we make money on that convenience fee, or did that cover the credit card cost for, if people use their credit card? Was it a break even, or did we actually make money on convenience?
we charged the fee that we would, or
We
we
passed.
made the fee that we would charge, or let me say that again. We only made what we paid for the services, so it was pretty much, it was a pass-through, yeah.
Okay.
we don't have that, and I was looking at some stuff on the internet, and I would like to see it come back. I believe we've doubled that fee, and question is that fair to our vendors?
For the credit card processing fee?
Yeah. So I have that question. We can't answer it at this point in time, but on the next report, I would like to see that. And are we making sure our vendors are aware that they're going to pay, I believe it's just under 3%, in addition to whatever they bid. Any other comments? And we have no public members, so I assume we have no public comments.
I move that we file and receive the report.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, and roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Santos,
Aye.
Councilmember Finn,
Yes.
Treasurer Janetti,
Yes.
Chairman Cooley,
I'm going to abstain for lack of information.
Vice Chair Vanderpool,
Yes.
Member Garcia,
Yes.
and Member Butler.
Yes.
Okay, that passes, and so the recommendation and the motion will be taken. The next item on the agenda is the August budget update and the financial status report. Everybody had an opportunity to look at that. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a PowerPoint presentation for you all.
Okay, so we have a staff report, and if we have no questions, let's jump right into that.
Okay.
Did we have any public comment on the invoice presentation?
I have no written comments.
Yeah, we have no
Well, I don't-
comments here.
well-
I asked if we had any.
But no, not on that one. You asked on the general comments. I just didn't hear one for that.
Yeah.
That's all.
Can you see it?
There are no callers on the line.
Okay.
Okay, we go ahead with our, so we had a staff report
Okay, yes.
on
So
the
I have
budget
a
update.
presentation for you. Everyone can see that?
Sure.
Okay, so this is the fiscal year 23 August budget update financial status report. What we have in here is we're going to go over our summary of cash balances, general fund revenue detail report, general fund expenditure detail report, wastewater fund revenue and expenditure detail report, and update on finance department projects. The summary of cash balances includes all banking activity for the month of July. Different bank accounts are used for fund segregation. Currently, the main operating bank account is Citibank. However, city staff are currently in the implementation process of switching operating bank accounts from Citibank to Wells Fargo. Bank of Hemet is used for specific functions such as payroll, receiving gas tax receipts, evidence and seizure, and special construction funds segregated for reporting and accounting purposes. As you can see from this slide, the Wells Fargo bank account was opened in August. Funds have not been moved into the account yet, but finance staff have been in the process of notifying vendors and agencies of the banking change. The total implementation time for establishing the Wells Fargo account is estimated at 10 to 12 weeks, so there's a lot of process in getting the bank account changed. So we're in the process of working with that right now. For Citibank, significant cash transactions during August include a $22 million transfer from LAIF to the general checking, a transfer of $17.3 million to Wilmington Trust for the 9/1 debt service payments, and a transfer of $3.7 million to the Bank of Hemet construction account for unspent SLFRF funds. So that's state and local fiscal recovery funds. This table reflects the first quarter to date of all cash balances, including investment accounts. And as you can see, funds were transferred from the LAIF to cover the 9/1 debt service payments. All available cash not anticipated for immediate use is invested until needed for operations. The August estimated current yield in liquidity fund is 1.85%, and LAIF July yield is 1.09%. And the PARs right there is highlighted yellow because those statements actually don't come out until about the 15th of the month, so we don't have that yet. And going on to the general fund revenues, most of the general fund revenue budget is from taxes. Property tax is usually recorded in December and May. Sales tax will start to be received in September in monthly advance payments, and then they do quarterly cleanup payments. Other taxes include motor vehicle in lieu, which is received in February and June, as well as utility users tax, which is received monthly. Miscellaneous revenue has a reversal entry from prior year due to GASB requirements to record investments at market value for the financial statements. So the entry puts the value back to book value, and you'll see that when we make the adjustment again at the end of this next fiscal year. For the city's budget control and monitoring process, Finance Department will provide reporting on the department and fund level. We have general fund expenditures by department here. All departments are within budget. Risk and HR budget is already at 85%, and I'll get to that reason in the next slide. This table provides for expenditures by type. Personnel costs make up 54.5% of the actuals to date. Operating costs are 43.67% of actuals, followed by capital at 1.8%. The other line is currently over budget by 9%, and this is caused by the liability and property insurance premium having an unanticipated 20% increase. And so a future budget amendment will be brought to council for this item. And getting into wastewater, wastewater revenues are collected in arrears. The July billing is accrued back to prior fiscal year, so the first billing for fiscal year 23 will be collected in September. Billing is completed bi-monthly. Revenues to date include sewer permit fees and billing adjustments. Wastewater expenses as of August 31st total $866,495, which is 6% of the fiscal year 23 budget. Personnel costs make up 44.95% of the budget. Operating costs make up 32% of the budget, and capital costs make up the remaining 23% of the budget. The wastewater vehicle line item is currently over budget. There are two reasons for this. First, a vehicle that was budgeted in fiscal year 22 was not received until the current fiscal year. So an item will be going to the City Council to reappropriate the fiscal year '22 funds to the current budget to cover that item. Second, the City Council approved the payoff of the Vector truck on August 16th, 2022, and a future budget amendment will be brought to the City Council to address the payoff of $157,335. And moving on to an update on Finance Department projects. We are currently working on a great deal of things, so just want to let you, we do have these in the City Council packets, and so I'll try to bring these periodically to the Finance Committee so that way you all can see what we're working on. The fee study we have that's going on, we'll bring a first look to that final report will be taken to the City Council at the September 20th meeting. Currently, CalCard approvals are done by paper and sent to Finance for approval and processing. Finance Department has been working with U.S. Bank to streamline this process electronically through their online platform. This will result in time savings for all users. All policies are currently under review and will be brought forward to the Finance and Audit Committee for their review. Year-end audit prep is underway as Finance is working to close the fiscal year '22 financials. City auditors are scheduled for fieldwork the second week of October. The fiscal year '23 budget contained an enhancement request to purchase and implement the Tyler AR accounts receivable module, and we expect to start that project by the end of the month. And with that, that concludes my report. I'm available for any questions anyone has.
Is the outside auditors on target to hit the goal date?
Yes, yes. I have requested that we have a draft to Finance and Audit Committee in December.
All right, thank you. Any comments, any discussion? Any requests from the public?
I have no written comments. Jackie, do we have anyone on the line?
No, there are no callers on the line.
All right, I'm looking for a recommendation to receive and file the motion to receive and file the report.
I move that we move to receive and file the financial report.
Have a
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Santos,
Aye.
Councilmember Fenn,
Yes.
Treasurer Janetti,
Yes.
Chairman Cooley,
Yes.
Vice Chair Vanderpool,
Yes.
Member Garcia,
Yes.
and Member Butler.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes and we'll receive and file that report. That brings us down to the subcommittee updates.
Sure.
Yes.
Can I make a comment? Just a quick comment. You guys, on the, on the finance, you're doing well. Looking on the numbers and everything, usually I will jump in on this. Expecting, maybe non-findings on the auditor for the past fiscal year, since, you're so organized and so quickly getting the software and everything. Everybody got involved on this and giving us an update on this. I really appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
That's our absolute goal every year. All right. That brings us to the subcommittee updates. We can run through each of those. The also question is there any subcommittee that actually has an update? I'm not seeing any input. We realize that we've had some change in personnel, and there's a lot of stuff that's kind of floating out there, and I don't know how much we can jump off into what was being done because there's a lack of continuity because of our staff changing. But at this point in time, I think Barry has some comments on what's going on.
Yeah, I think the last meeting, you weren't here, and we kind of went through most of the subcommittees have either completed or at this point. There was one issue was getting the training program. Was that put up online?
Yeah, that actually, our POI is working on setting up on the finance page
Right.
She's going to do a link, and so she's working on putting that link, so that way
Okay.
everything is put into there.
Okay.
It's not up yet, though, but it will be in probably about a week or so.
That was
Hopefully the next meeting,
Yeah,
it'll be up.
Yeah, that was the action item from the last time. Otherwise, we kind of closed out a bunch of the subcommittees, and there was one that we were waiting for, and I'm trying to remember which one it is.
It was the GIS. Do we know where
Oh,
we're
the-
at with the GIS implementation?
Correct, and we were waiting for a hire on GIS. They haven't gotten that person in, and when they did, they had to get him on board before he could start doing projects.
Carrie, do you want to update the committee on where we're at with the GIS analyst position, please?
Yes, the analyst is in the last phase of background. So I would assume we will be onboarding him within the next 3 weeks, is my best guess, 3 to 4 weeks. However, we do have the consultant, the new consultant firm engaged and looking at the CFD project as a priority due to the delays of the software and the hiring and whatnot. So I hope by next month I'll have an update for you and we'll see some of those layers already implemented.
Thank you.
Okay?
Great.
So then I think we'll direct this net comment to our council members that are here. It looks like the members of the Audit and Finance are probably available and willing to look at some special projects. If you have anything that you'd like us to do or anything you'd like to discuss with us to see if we believe that we can help you out. And then that brings us down to future agenda items. Is there anything that needs to go on the agenda other than the discussion about the new GI? Yeah.
If I may, Nicole, can you confirm the next meeting is October 10th? Is that a city holiday?
Next meeting is October 10th, and let me look at my calendar. I think you might be
it
right.
is.
Indigenous People Day?
Yes, correct. It is a holiday. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
can
Got it.
decide if the meeting should be moved or canceled.
So do we want to do the same thing we did this month and move it?
If I may interrupt, it is not a holiday that's been adopted formally by city council yet as a closure.
Okay.
Oh, all right. So the city will.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Excuse me. No. Columbus Day, AKA Indigenous People does.
Yep.
I apologize.
So the city offices will be closed.
Yes. Yes, I apologize.
Elizabeth, are you there?
Cesar Chavez is the new one that we have not adopted. I apologize. I got confused.
Okay. Elizabeth, are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, I think we were discussing a couple meetings ago and when we had our little conference call that if we didn't have a media agenda that we might just skip a meeting till we come
Correct.
back. And I don't see a lot of issues that maybe we need in October and then come back in November.
I
What,
would agree with that.
is that okay? Would that
Comments from our
fulfill?
committee? Anybody have a real problem with skipping that meeting?
I just have a question regarding it. So, Ms. Gibbs, for the council's upcoming CIP budget meeting, is there any work that needs to be done with this committee prior to that meeting?
This committee can certainly review the proposed CIP budget and the budget amendments, but I would ask that it be done the following week, the week of the 17th.
Okay, so that can be done.
Yeah.
So
Just
does it need to
because-
come to this committee first before it goes to council is my question.
It's not required, but it's certainly something that we can talk about with the committee.
Okay,
and
so
one-
that would be my only reservation in canceling the meeting.
Would that-
That's a good point,
Would those
David.
documents be available before the 17th?
No, we would have to schedule a special meeting with you all the week before. So the workshop with city council is October 25th. I believe that's a Thursday, correct?
Tuesday.
Oh, a Tuesday. Okay. So I would ask that it be scheduled no more than a week prior to the 25th, simply because we're going to need time to get those documents together. And we have a 3-day, well, if it's a special meeting, when would we have to post, Nicole?
24 hours.
24 hours in advance, yeah. Jennifer, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I was just gonna, one item I would like to put for future agenda items is policy review. So we had talked about maybe doing that too, to get ready for the next budget. So it'd be good to have it sooner rather than later.
Okay, so committee members, anybody have a problem with trying to schedule a meeting not on our normal date so that we can look at that budget information?
I'm fine with that.
It'd have to be.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too. That's fine.
I'm sorry?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, what date are we looking at? It might, to give everybody an idea, what time frame for those two
Well-
items?
The 18th is a city council meeting, so I would ask that we look at either the 19th or the 20th.
That's fine with me.
That'd be
Fine.
what, a Thursday?
A Wednesday or a Thursday?
Wednesday or Thursday.
Prefer Thursday,
You'd prefer
Yeah,
Thursday?
20th.
I prefer Thursday as well. I have a church meeting Wednesday evening.
Same here.
That I can't get out of.
I'm good on that.
Okay, do we want to just go ahead and
Yeah,
schedule
Thursday, the
it then?
29th is fine.
The 20th.
Oh, the 20th, I'm sorry. Thursday, October. Oh, I'm looking at September, that's why. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Thursday,
So
20th.
Thursday, October 20th, with the caveat that if there's some difficulty with the city department getting that ready in time, we could just let everybody know and cancel that meeting.
Okay, so just for clarification, so in lieu of meeting on the 10th, we will meet on the 20th, correct?
Correct, that's what I understand. Anybody, you have a different understanding?
And the agenda will include the policy reviews
Review.
and the CIP
Correct.
and budget adjustment.
That's a part of yeah.
Okay, got it.
All right, I don't think we really need to vote on that. We've all had our input and we've seen that. So then that moves us down to our meeting review from Mr. Giannetti.
Mr. Giannetti saw that we got our initial review of invoice that we had asked for the first 6 months, so we now have an idea how that flowed. We have some questions that can fulfill the information a little more that Mr. Cooley brought up, but I think what we had is a good first picture at that. I'm satisfied that it's working and saving us some money. As far as finances, we're in the process now of transitioning to Wells Fargo, and it looks like mid-October is the date you're looking that should be completed.
I would say more towards the end of October.
More the end of October, okay. And as far as the budgets, both the budgets look like they're on target or actually below our spending levels and everything where we are now for the first 2 months. Subcommittees, we are working on the link to complete the training addition to the finance part of the website. And also, as far as the GIS information we wanted with CFDs, the individual's coming on in 3 to 4 weeks, but there's other work there, but there's a consultant that is working on that project. So we have something to start working there. Otherwise, as a committee, we would be looking for additional work from the council. I think we may also want to include at our meeting on the 20th of October is some of our thoughts of some things we might be able to contribute. Because I remember the last time I went into the council and said, we're here to do if you have some ideas, and they said, well, why don't you give us some ideas? And then we threw them up and they threw theirs in and we came up. So I think we ought to have some of our ideas together. So we could maybe have that on the agenda also.
Okay, thank you for that. And now we go to the finance director's comments.
Normally, I would update everyone on projects that finance is working on, but I already did that this evening, so I'm going to go ahead and just no comments.
Okay, I think that is ready for an adjournment, but there is a comment on this document about when the next meeting is, and it may be appropriate for the city staff to change that before it goes out to the public. That meeting will be held October 20th, which is a Thursday, just so that we don't have that confusion. And with that, we'll adjourn at 6:34 p.m. Thank you for being here.
Very good.
Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Guys.